If you're new to raw feeding or have been feeding your pet raw for some time now, odds are you may have made a mistake or two in the transition process, because not only is it a big transition for the pet, it's arguably an even bigger transition for the owner. There's so much information to absorb that even after feeding a raw diet for years now, I'm still learning new things pretty much daily. If you're new to raw feeding, this video will hopefully help you avoid making these common beginner mistakes yourself. Number 1, not doing enough research before making the switch. You may want to dive into trying your pet on a raw diet after seeing pretty photos of raw meals online or reading the common benefits it provides, but it's important to take time to research, as in weeks or even months, asking questions, understanding your pet's individual needs, and even consulting your vet before jumping into it. Consulting your vet may be difficult if they're skeptical about the raw diet, but hopefully they can work with you and at least helping you understand your pet's specific needs and nutritional requirements if they have any health ailments. If this is the case, it would also be beneficial to consult a certified nutritionist as well. They will be able to formulate a diet specific to your pet's needs, so you won't need to worry about nutritional gaps. I will leave helpful links in the description below. Be sure to stay tuned for mistake number 7, where I go over another aspect of raw feeding that pet owners tend to rush. Number 2, not providing a second secreting organ. This is something I see new raw feeders miss fairly often. They learn about feeding muscle meats, raw meaty bone, and liver, but fail to feed the second secreting organ. Liver is chock full of vitamins like vitamin A, B vitamins, iron, and copper, but your pet needs that second secreting organ for additional nutrients that liver doesn't contain. For example, kidney has a high concentration of selenium and is a better source of vitamin D in comparison to other organs. Sometimes it's a case of not being able to find it easily. Grocery stores may not carry organ meat such as kidney, brain, thymus, or pancreas, but there are a few other sources that might. Check places like your local butcher, Asian market, or other international food store, or local farmers market in the area. You may need to put in some extra effort for these cuts by asking butchers or farmers specifically for them, as they're not often an in-demand cut, but Asian markets will most likely have at least one available for purchase. Personally, all I did was ask a few meat farmers at my local farmers market what they were selling, and many actually had kidney on hand. Remember that testicle is counted as a secreting organ as well, and beef farmers often have these on hand as many people like making Rocky Mountain oysters with them. Number 3, feeding inappropriate sized bones. If you're feeding a puppy or small dog a raw diet, you're more limited to when it comes to what bones you can feed. Oftentimes, you may see a photo online of a pretty bowl with, let's say, a duck head in the middle and get inspired. But not only is this probably too much bone to feed your puppy or small dog, the bones are probably also too thick for them to chew. It's okay to go over the recommended bone allowance every now and then if you're balancing over time, but too much bone can cause complications like constipation or even a blockage. You also create the risk of your dog fracturing teeth or choking. Small dogs, cats, and ferrets require soft bones like quail, Cornish hen, rabbit, chicken, and small duck. Medium to larger dogs can have bones from goose, turkey, pork, and more. Number 4, not including fresh whole foods to balance. If you've chosen to start your pet on a raw diet, you're probably doing so because you think it's the healthiest, most optimal nutrition source. But that's not going to be the case if you're feeding an unbalanced meal for a long period of time. If you're not feeding whole prey, the bone, muscle meats, and organs won't be enough to balance. There are nutritional gaps that can only be filled with either synthetic vitamins, which is what KIBBLE companies use, or fresh whole foods that provide these vitamins and minerals naturally. I go over all of this in my Balancing with NRC Guidelines video, which I will link at the end of this video. Number 5, adding in unnecessary supplements. This is another common thing I notice owners new to raw feeding doing because they want to make their dog's bowl look more pretty for photos. Just because you see a colorful item in photos you see online doesn't mean it's necessary for your dog as well. For example, golden paste or turmeric. Turmeric is a spice that, when combined with a healthy fat source like coconut oil and black pepper, creates a paste that can help reduce inflammation. Some owners use it for their older arthritic dogs or dogs with injuries. This sort of supplement just isn't necessary for puppies. Something else I see over-supplemented is spirulina. A little goes a long way, but many times I see a mound of it in a dog's bowl. Spirulina is a type of bacteria called CYANOBACTERIUM and is a dense source of vitamins, amino acids, and trace minerals. However, many brands are low quality or imitation products that contain neurotoxins and heavy metals. Spirulina isn't necessary to balance your dog's diet, but if you're insistent on feeding it, I suggest you do your research on the companies you're purchasing from and rotate these out with other meal additions. Number 6, only feeding 1 to 2 protein sources after transitioning. While it's best to feed one protein at a time when transitioning, you need to give your pet a variety of animal proteins after, as each cut provides different vitamins and minerals. It can certainly be difficult to find exotic meats at your local grocery store, but you're guaranteed to find at least 3 in your local store's meat section. Pork provides vitamin B1, B3, and B6, while beef provides iron, zinc, thiamine, B12, and vitamin D. Even though chicken is readily available and recommended for transitioning, it shouldn't be the bulk protein of the meal, as it's lower in nutrients and is also one of the main proteins that pets tend to have an allergy with. It's recommended to feed 3 to 5 different proteins once your pet is fully transitioned. If you're introducing a new protein, start with a small amount and gradually increase. Number 7, rushing your pet's transition from kibble to raw. It's normal to get excited and want to introduce your pets to exciting new proteins and cuts, but it's best to allow your pet to set the pace, as well as give it time so you can pinpoint an allergy. Chicken and beef tend to be 2 of the protein sources dogs and cats may have an allergy with. Symptoms of this can range from itching and skin inflammation to gastrointestinal issues, and this can be identified more easily when given one protein at a time. Some pets take to raw right away, while others need more time learning how to accept new tastes and textures. Don't try to recreate meals from photos online, because some people balance over time, meaning one bowl may not depict what they should be intaking on a daily basis. It's best to follow a transition guide or what your nutritionist advises you to do. Like I mentioned in mistake number 4, balancing is key to providing your pet an optimal diet. If you want to learn more about balancing, check out these videos.